So today I'm going to share with you some of my dirty laundry. Today I want to talk a little bit about disclosure of information in connection with an M&A transaction. And I'm joined by my colleague and friend, LaRona Kitzinger, who's an expert on such matters. And LaRona, thanks for joining me. I'd love to get your take on why it's important to pay attention to what gets disclosed in connection with an M&A deal.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. And I think, there's sort of two components that we look at when we're thinking about disclosure in an M&A transaction. And the first step is going to be buyer's diligence. They're going to want to, comb through files, understand more about the business, and that gets folded into a purchase agreement by seller disclosure schedules. And so they're sort of two functions, but they relate to each other. And I think the biggest challenge that we see with sellers, I know Bob would agree, is first up is there sort of a psychological component where sellers are resistant or think, they're critiquing how I ran the business. And really, that's not the intent. The intent is just to understand kind of where potential risks lie, and so that we can figure out how we want to allocate them in connection with the purchase agreement and closing. And then I think there's also a practical issue of sometimes things that we're trying to work through, people that know about them might not know about the deal yet. So we're balancing, wanting to do as thorough of a job as we can and understanding who's able to adequately answer those questions. So I think, as sellers are prepping and want to get towards a transaction process, I think thinking about those two things, starting to organize files, figure out who has those, can really help smoothen out the process. And I think the other thing to think about is when there really are truly sensitive issues, to loop in counsel as soon as possible, because we can talk through those issues under the shield of confidentiality. We can talk about potentially remedying those issues or how we want to address and disclose them. Knowing them sooner in the process just helps make sure that we haven't, breached any work privilege. Work product privilege. And if some of that too can be remedied, we can start to take steps to fix some of those things and know where they're going to fall in buyer's diligence process, and then where we're going to put them in the disclosure schedules.
That's awesome. So I think a key takeaway here is that as with other parts of an M&A transaction, preparing materials for disclosure of the other side does require careful planning and consultation with your counsel to do it right.